People say a knock on your door can change your whole life, but I wasn't expecting the knock that came that evening, the one that sounded like a warning instead of a visit. I opened the door and found Karen, the self-appointed HOA queen, standing on my porch with her teenage son Brock, who was spinning my Harley keychain on his finger like he already owned it. Karen didn't even greet me. She slid a glossy HOA seizure notice under my chin and said, "Your motorcycle violates noise and aesthetic ordinances. It now belongs to the HOA. My son will be taking it before sunset." Brock stepped forward, smirking. "Bike's mine now, old man. Give me the keys before we make this ugly." I stared at the kid. It wasn't fear I felt, it was disbelief mixed with amusement. "You forged this," I said calmly, handing the paper back, but Karen slapped it away and shrieked, "This neighborhood follows my rules." Before I could respond, Brock suddenly marched to my driveway and tossed a leg over my Harley like he was about to ride off. I stepped forward, but Karen blocked me, screaming, "Touch him and I'll have you arrested for assault." At that exact moment, 3 neighbors peeked out from behind curtains, clearly used to her nonsense, and Brock revved the engine so hard the street shook, yelling, "Hear that? This is why I get to own it." What he didn't know was that I had installed a biometric lock. My Harley wouldn't move an inch without my fingerprint. The engine died instantly, making Brock look like a fool. Humiliated, Karen grabbed her phone and dialed 911 right there in my driveway, shouting loud enough for the block to hear, "Officer, get here now! This thug is threatening my child and trying to steal my son's motorcycle." I almost laughed, except the distant sirens weren't funny. She actually did it. But instead of panicking, I took out my phone and made a different call, casual as a Sunday morning. "Yeah, it's happening again. Send someone," I said, staring Karen dead in the eyes. She froze for the first time, her confidence cracking as a police cruiser rolled in. The young officer approached, confused, as Karen threw herself into full drama mode, fake tears, shaking hands, pointing at me like I was a madman. "He attacked my son. He tried to take Brock's property and threatened us," she wailed, shoving that forged HOA notice at the officer, who actually paused to examine it. Brock piled onto the performance, shouting, "I just wanted to ride my bike, sir. He went crazy." The officer turned to me. Sir, can we talk?" But before I could answer, another car, a black government sedan, glided onto the street. Every neighbor stiffened. Karen went silent. Brock's face drained of color. The door opened, and out stepped Deputy State Attorney Mason Hale, sunglasses on, badge displayed. Karen choked on air. Mason looked at me, nodded, then faced the officer. "We received a report of fraud, impersonation of authority, and an attempted property seizure." The officer blinked hard, suddenly nervous. Karen exploded. "Fraud? No! He is the problem. That bike belongs to my son. He broke HOA law." Mason lifted an eyebrow. "Interesting, considering this subdivision doesn't legally have an HOA. The neighbors gasped. Karen stuttered violently. Brock whispered, panicked, "Mom, what?" Mason wasn't done. He held up a tablet showing high-def footage from a hidden camera on my garage, Karen planting fake notices on doors, Brock threatening to confiscate people's stuff, and tonight's entire stunt from the moment they stepped onto my property. Karen lunged forward like a cornered animal, screaming, "You can't use that! I run this community! I make the rules!" Mason's voice cut like ice. "No, ma'am, what you've done is a felony." When she tried grabbing Brock and running, the officer moved in, cuffing her as she kicked and screamed, "I built this neighborhood! You can't erase me!" Brock backed away with his hands up, whispering, "I didn't know she was doing all that," as neighbors poured onto the street, finally free enough to speak. A retired man yelled, "You fined me $300 for leaving my trash bin out." A woman added, "I threatened to tow my car for parking in my own driveway." Karen shrieked from the patrol car, "I'll come back. You all will regret this." But the door slammed shut, and her voice vanished. Mason walked over to me and placed a hand on my shoulder. "Good call. You stayed calm. Let the law do the work."
As the patrol car drove away, the neighborhood felt lighter, like someone finally cut chains none of us realized we were carrying. Brock slipped away down the sidewalk, hood over his head, no fight left in him. I fired up my Harley, the deep rumble echoing through the street, this time welcomed, not judged. Neighbors clapped. Some smiled for the first time in years. And as I looked at the empty street where Karen once acted like a tyrant, I wondered how one woman convinced herself she could rule the world with a fake stamp and a loud voice. But here's what I want to know. If you were in my shoes and Karen's son tried to ride off with your motorcycle, what would you have done?
Every neighborhood has its secrets, and every Karen leaves her mark. If you love true HOA stories like this, make sure to watch more on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Thank you.